Hey everybody, I'm Matt from the Ionic team.
Hey guys, and I'm Brody, also from the Ionic team.
Today we're going to be talking with you guys a little bit about our new Teams feature in Ionic Pro. Throughout that, we're going to give just a little bit of background of Pro. Brody's going to help you guys go over that. We're going to dive in and talk a little bit about Git and a few other things on how you collaborate with Pro. First of all, though, we're probably going to give it just another minute to let some more people roll in. Just so you guys know, on the right-hand side, whichever way is your right-hand side, we'll have a chat tab as well as a questions tab. Over there, you can ask any questions you'd like. Feel free to throw them in the chat. We're going to have Nick on our team actually kind of answering your questions as we go. And then towards the end, we'll probably do a Q&A where I can actually respond to some questions with Brody as well and help you out over this voice and video once we get to that point in the show.
Yeah, so we've got about, I'd say, another 30 seconds to a minute before we actually dive in and get started. So if you're already in here, feel free to just get settled. We're going to get started in 30 seconds. But actually, on the right-hand side, as Matt mentioned, we do have a chat. So feel free to jump in there and say hello. Let us know what your name is, where you're from, what the weather's like. It's actually sunny here in Madison, Wisconsin. That's where we're headquartered. So it's sunny, but it's freezing. So
it's like 13 degrees outside, but I just turned on the air conditioning in here because the sun is treating us like a hot box.
It is a freezing, deceiving day.
Yeah.
So yeah, feel free to. Oh, California. Hey, Pedro. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining. Who else?
South Florida. It's warm. How warm is South Florida today?
Montreal,
negative 15. Now, let's be real. We're from up north a little bit as well. Is negative 15 with or without wind chill? We gotta specify.
Yeah, the wind chill factor is pretty important. Hey Ryan, thanks for joining.
Argentina.
Jane, Diego, Cody.
Cody says it makes no sense to me to live where the air literally hurts your face. Cody, you're not wrong. We do regret some of our decisions every day. But,
that's why you have to grow something like.
Yes, this is like required. This is required. You need a little work.
I've been working. It's a work in progress, but Matt definitely has some protection.
Yeah, Nick here. Nick's going to be helping us out. Like I said, with questions. Nick's rocking a beard too. We all need to keep warm over here. So
beards from Wisconsin.
That's the face of beautiful Nick. He'll be jumping in, helping us out with questions throughout. So like I said, keep that chat tab bumping. There's also that questions tab to ask anything you want, and there's a polls tab too. If you guys want to check that out throughout, we ask some random questions that just help us improve the demo experience over time. But that being said, I think we've waited long enough. You want to get started with the show, Brody?
Yeah, let's dive right in.
All right.
Today, you guys.
Whoops, we're still looking at us, aren't we?
We are.
We have to screen share, guys. Give me 2 seconds. All right. This should go full screen for us in just a second.
And there's the Inception screen. Perfect. You might have to go file full screen.
All right, we are looking good.
Perfect.
All right, Brody, take it away.
So hey guys, yeah, thanks again for joining. For those of you that joined up just a few seconds ago or are currently joining right now, you can see that there's a chat tab on the right-hand side, so make sure you drop your name in there. Feel free to ask questions throughout the demo. We do have Nick Hyatt, one of the product leads. He'll be able to answer questions. I'll be able to answer some questions here and there, and then Matt and I will stop at the very end for a QA session. We want to make sure that we kind of fly through this. I know we've got 30 minutes, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So Ionic for Teams. First of all, what is Ionic? What's Ionic Pro? And why did we build Ionic for Teams? I already kind of gave our intro today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of an intro. Should take about a minute. So if you're already familiar with Ionic, Ionic Pro, and Ionic for Teams, hang tight. We're going to get right into the full demo, which Matt will lead. So what is Ionic Pro? Where did it come from? And why did we build it? So Ionic Pro is a toolkit that's built on top of the open source framework that you guys already know and love. And essentially, one of the things that we did was over the last 18 months, we've interviewed thousands of Ionic developers, Ionic users, and Ionic advocates. Everyone from individual developers up to entire Scrum teams, taking advantage of agile practices and other things. So Ionic Pro was really built from all of those conversations that we had and all the interviews that we led. And throughout that process, we started to notice a couple things that were standing out. First and foremost, everyone wanted to get to market quicker. That means being able to go from the original idea of the application to market, whether it's an MDM solution or in the App Store. Being able to go through each phase faster and get that application to market and in your end user's hands faster is paramount. Next is a better quality of application. So making sure that you have high quality applications that are performant and cross-platform. Next, more control over releases and updates. So being able to have granular control over what your users have in their hands and when is super important. Being able to deliver code fixes, application changes in real time is super important and incredibly valuable, and one of the things that makes hybrid development really special. And lastly, working in teams is hard. This is something that is very common amongst development practices and getting into mobile. Figuring out how to communicate, how to effectively push code together, and then how to manage these applications and projects in a group is challenging. So this is something that we've done. Ionic Pro is something that we've done to really battle that. So I'm going to let Matt take this one.
Yeah, so we took over basically the entire software development lifecycle of your Ionic apps and tried to make it quicker and easier at every point in time. So we do that with faster prototyping with Creator, making it easier to test and monitor for errors using both Ionic View and our brand new error reporting service. Real-time app updates allow you to actually deploy bug fixes and new features right to your end user devices while bypassing the App Store, and then also provide better collaboration for teams. And we do a lot of that, like I said earlier, through the use of Git. So we're going to dive into that a good amount today as well. So when you look at kind of how this entire system works, if you guys have ever used something like Heroku, this model is going to look very similar to you. So you basically have, your entire team here. We've got, 4 people represented by their computers at the bottom here. They're going to be pushing to, an external Git repository that you guys are most likely already using to collaborate, something like GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. And then when you're ready, any one of those developers can push up that current version of code to Ionic Pro, which will then allow you to work, to share with testers, package your binaries, track errors, send live updates, or use any number of the Pro features. So you're all still working together with your own Git repositories. You push code up to us, and that allows you to use the different pieces of Ionic Pro. We're going to actually go straight to, like I said, Nick is going to be answering a lot of those questions in that sidebar. So I wanted to dive in and kind of show you a little bit about the new Teams feature that we've been, or that we already released, and kind of how you're going to use it in your day-to-day to actually work with the rest of your team, right? So you've heard, me a couple times mention Git. Here I wanted to show you guys how Brody set up an app that he's been programming and he's actually been using for his demos. And we're going to get myself onboarded into this app so that I can help him, with various pieces of the project, maybe add a feature or two with him and collaborate in Ionic Pro together. So he hosts his app on GitLab as the primary kind of source of truth. So this is still where you're going to come in and use any Git service that you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be GitLab. And this is where, you dive in and you can actually see the changes, see the files, backup commit history, revert something, like you see all of that fantastic history and Git-related features and collaboration-related features in your current kind of Git host. So here, like I said, he's been going through and making some changes to this app, and he's got his SSH or HTTPS kind of URL that I could clone down so I can get that app locally on my computer. This is also an app that he's actually already set up in Ionic Pro. Now, he's already invited me to check this out, so I already have access, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But, here you can see Brody has made a lot of changes already. And now I want to hop on board and make some changes. So I'm going to show you kind of how to set that up with your team. So we've already got this team that we've created called Acme Co. And if you guys ever need to get started with a new team, maybe you haven't hopped on the Teams plan yet or our business plan, all you do to hop on that team is click this little drop down right here. This shows you all the apps you have access to. You can narrow it down to your personal apps. And you can also see I'm a member of 3 different teams or organizations. So if you haven't gotten started yet, it's really easy. You just click Create Organization. That allows you to name that organization, choose how many users you want in it, And then you can choose whether or not you want to be on that teams plan or the business plan. The only major difference here right now is the fact that you can have multiple teams in a business plan and you get one team in the teams plan. So like I said, we've already gone ahead and created the Acme Co organization here. So this organization is essentially, this organization is essentially a combination of the people on my team and the apps my team is working on. So we can see one tab here, we have all of our apps that are in Acme Co. In this second tab, we can see all the members that are available to Acme Co. I'm already a member, but if, say, we wanted to add, Nick to the team here, we could do Nick. I'm sure we've already invited Nick, so we're going to do a different email address. We're going to make him just a normal member. We could also make him an admin, and we're going to kick off that invite. I don't know if I trust Nick being an, just kidding. Nick's an admin on all of our stuff already. So now I could go see it. Okay, we've got that invitation that's been sent out to Nick. He's going to get an email in his inbox that says, hey, join this Ionic team. He'll log in with his Ionic account, and then he'll automatically be added to this organization. Now, if you hop on that teams plan, effectively, you're going to get the apps and the members tab, and all of your members will have access to all of your apps. And that's how you can kind of collaborate together really easily. If you hop on that business plan, teams are going to allow you to pair together people and apps in specific permission combinations. So you can see here, if we open up this demo team, these 9 members get access to these 2 apps, but not any of the other like 10 apps I have in this, right? So allows you to better organize those permissions. Now, like I said, I want to jump in and show you guys how to actually get started collaborating together. So we are going to dive a little bit into some of this Git stuff and show you how you would get set up collaborating on a project. So far, you've come up here, you've invited a team member already. You've already had one member of your team create an app, start working with it. Maybe they're already pushing up some code. Now, I want to collaborate on that app. So Brody invites me and says, hey, you're a member of our team. Go to our team's GitLab, pull down this project I've been working on, right? So you're going to do essentially a normal Git clone of the Git URL you're using, whether in GitLab or GitHub or wherever you need it from. 2 ways to do that. You can do a Git clone in the command line. So we would essentially just do Git clone and then that URL. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. Or you can use a UI if you're not as familiar with Git. Even though we use GitLab, I actually like using the GitHub UI so that I can just, essentially click this button up here, say clone a project, put in that URL, and it'll do all of the hard work for me. Okay, let's go back here though. All right, so we git clone, and that's going to pull down the project locally. So like I said, effectively you do git clone, that URL, hit enter, and it's going to pull down all your code. I've already done that. We're going to go to the field sales demo app, and as you can see, if I open this, we've got that full Ionic project that I've already been working on that I've pulled down from another member of the team. Now, normally we don't commit everything to that repo. So like we don't commit, for instance, NPM dependencies or anything else that can be just normally installed. So I've already gone ahead and run NPM install, which gets me all those dependencies. Didn't want to make you guys wait for that, so I've already set it up. But now effectively where I'm at is I've got this app pulled down on my computer that Brody was working on, but I'm not yet finished connecting with Ionic Pro. So Brody might be connected with Pro on his machine, but I'm not yet. So I'm going to go over to the field sales app demo, go over to settings, click Git, and it's going to tell me how to set up new team members locally. So we've already done this first step. We've pulled down something from our normal Git host, and now all we need to do is run Ionic Git remote. So I'm going to go ahead and run Ionic Git remote, and that's going to set me up with Ionic's remote origin. Like I said, I've already kind of done some of these things. It would just tell you the origin that it added, and everything would be cool. So now, throughout my day-to-day, I'm going to be able to work on this code base and kind of make changes as I see fit in whatever Git flow cycle that you guys like using. So if I were to make a change, we can go ahead and do that quick. I'm just going to open code real quick here. And we're going to make a change to just, we'll just do a button color today. So we'll change this, this mark complete button in our tasks screen from danger to primary, right? We're going to save that. And then I'm going to come back to my command line and run git status. Here we can see I've got one modified file. And actually, I'm running on master right now, But let's say I don't really want to mess up what Brody's working on. I don't want to commit to my master branch. I actually want to make a new branch. So normally you can do git branch and kind of start a new branch from that. Or like I said, you can use a UI as well. So I might hop in this UI and say, okay, I actually want a new branch. This is going to be Matt's cool feature branch. And now I'm working in a separate branch from Brody. If you guys want to learn more about branches and kind of merging branches together and things like that, there's plenty of Git resources out on the internet. We use something, I believe, Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, called Git Flow is kind of the paradigm we use for collaboration. But effectively, we do that git status. I've still got that modified file. We're on Matt's awesome feature branch now. We can do git add. We can commit that and just say, what did we do? Danger to primary. And then, whoops, I messed up my quotes. There we go. So now we did that. And now, since I have a different, since we have GitLab as well as Ionic, we can do two different things here, right? We can do git push origin, which is our GitLab. And then we can do, what did I name my branch? Matt's cool feature. And that's going to push that up to our original code that we've been working on, right? That's to the GitLab. I haven't sent it to Ionic yet. If I want to do something in Ionic now, like collaborate, get someone access to it in Ionic View, all I do is git push Ionic, Matt's cool feature. And we're going to hop back after this is done here. There we go. It committed up to that. We triggered a new build of that Ionic code. Let's come back to our code tab here. I'm going to refresh. And we'll see, all this history that Brody has, right? Give it just a second here. History that Brody has, working on that master branch, right? He's done a lot of color changes. That's normally what we do during all these demos. And then up here, you can see I deployed something from Matt's cool feature. So I'm not stepping on his toes at all. I'm working on my own branch. But now we're both sending code up to Ionic together as a team. So we've gone through kind of inviting members, setting up this project, pushing up code from multiple users. We've cloned down from GitHub. Now maybe I want to get the stuff I've been working on out using Ionic View to a different set of users. So let's go ahead and we could dive into this and make sure that it's finished building. So right now our build is still in progress. And all this is doing a full kind of regular style Ionic build like you guys are used to right in the cloud. So we can see this finishing. Our npm run build success, it's currently uploading that to us, and now our build finished. So if I go back here and refresh, we're going to start to see some of those actions available to me for that build. Cool. Our build finished. We can now deploy it or package it. So package allows you to kind of get that native iOS or Android binary how you want. But I want to talk about channels for a minute here. So Brody has been working with 3 different channels. He's already set these up. He set up a testing channel to share with some of our users, set up a master channel, which always updates to his latest code, and a production channel, which we haven't gone to production quite yet with this app. We're still working on it, so it doesn't have an active commit. Maybe I want to test a feature separate from Brody, right? Like I've got a group of 5 users, and I want them to check out this cool new feature that I'm working on. We could start a new channel here so I don't step on anybody else's toes, and we could do, cool feature A test, and we'll create that channel. And now we've got this channel. It doesn't have any history yet. It's just been created. But I can go back to my builds tab here and say, okay, we've got that danger to primary color that Matt worked on. We're going to deploy that to the cool feature A test. Hit deploy. And now we can see that's active by this little tag. So again, working together as a team, haven't stepped on anybody's toes yet, but I'm still able to get up to this platform working in the same app. Now, any developer who's logged into Ionic View is going to be able to kind of see this code that's shared with them already, right? I'm not logged into Ionic View on my personal device right now, so I've got it downloaded, but I'm not logged in yet. So let's treat me like, an external tester here. I'm going to go ahead and invite Matt plus, is a tester at ionic.io. Hit share with one person on that cool feature A test. And now I'm going to get an email that gives me access to view that code that I pushed up. So here, I'm going to bring this up so you guys can see this. Give me just a second. All right, so on my phone, we've got our email. It says Acme Codes, invited you to check out Field Sales App Demo, load an Ionic View. like I said, right now we're treating, this email as if I'm a tester. So, any user could have gotten this email. You don't need to know in advance if they're on iOS or Android. This is, any users that you guys want to test with. And I'm going to click that. It's going to open up that deep link, take me through to Ionic View, and it is going to kind of load me through my tester account real quick that it's creating on the fly for me. So let's open that up. And now we are going to see that field sales app demo. Whoops, that was actually the wrong, I was logged in with a different tester account. Give me just a second. So this shows off multiple versions. I've already been playing with this. This was my personal email, the one that I opened at the top, as you can see. My bottom one is this other channel I have access to, right? So let me click that.
And what Matt did off screen, just to back out of that, is that he shook the device. And when you shake the device, you're prompted with a couple different things. You can share specific feedback, or you have the ability to exit out of the application. So I just wanted to let you guys know, like, you can't see what he's doing off screen, but he pulled up this app in View, and then he just shook the app.
Yeah, so here, this is actually kind of cool. I'm actually glad I kind of messed up a little bit. So like I said, I've got my personal tester account logged in onto this phone for my personal Gmail, and I also have the tester account that I just logged into. So this actually kind of showcases the multiple versions. So this version you're looking at right now, we can play with this app. It's a real app in Ionic View. I'm, playing with it. I can click all these buttons. I can do whatever I'd like in the app. I'm logged in from my Ionic account tester email right now, right? So I could shake the device, and I could click send feedback and be like, blue button looks awesome. Right? We'll send that feedback back to the Ionic dashboard, right? But now let's hop out of this app, right? And let's pretend with me for a moment, if I could shake that, hit exit. Let's pretend for a moment that I'm going to log into my personal tester account at the top here. If I click Field Sales App Demo there, you'll notice the button's not blue. The button's red. So that tester account was actually shared, Brody shared with that account right here and gave me access to the testing channel. So Brody's over working on the testing channel with my personal Gmail. So my personal Gmail sees what he wants me to see. And I'm working with my Ionic account where I see cool feature A. So you can send different users, different things from different developers that have pushed up all this code, and overall kind of give you guys the ability to kind of work how you want and share the different versions of your app how you want. Now let's back out here and let's go over that feedback tab though. I just want to show you guys what this looks like too. This feedback system sends back all of the, the screenshot that the user was currently looking at, their email address, the message they sent you, what type of phone, what operating system they're on, as well as the channel that they were looking at. So you can come in here and monitor for feedback from your users as well.
And that's personally one of my favorite features, specifically the fact that it calls out the channel. When you're working with multiple channels, just like Matt did, the fact that you have the ability to see this feedback with the channel, the device, the operating system, and kind of gives you this detailed information. You understand what the user was looking at. You get that quick message, but then most importantly, you understand what channel they were on and what device they were on. So it's super awesome to get that quick feedback.
Yeah, so I know we've gone through a lot and we've spent a lot of time in Ionic View. I did want to hit just a little bit on kind of each of the other features that you can all use together in your teams. One of those is actually deploying live updates to real native binaries, bypassing the App Store. So in other words, if you have an app that someone's downloaded from the App Store and you need a crucial bug fix, you need it out in like 5 minutes. You don't want to wait for Apple approval or anything like that. You can do that by using these same channels. So here we've got cool feature A test, testing, master, and production would be the active version of our code, right? So you can set up your native binary with Ionic Deploy and say, install this Cordova plugin, and it's going to pull from my production channel in the background and get me any new app updates. And so if I have a native binary, pulling in with deploy from this production channel, all I need to do to get a new update to that user is click deploy, deploy to production, hit deploy there, and now we'll see that's active in my production channel. Would have automatically updated my end user's device without going through the App Store as well. Like I said, package does package for native binaries. We also have monitoring, which does error reporting back to the original TypeScript. Let me hop actually to a different project. I'll show you guys real quick. Let's have do project you've already got a monitoring error set up in. So here we can see, we've got an error all the way back to the original TypeScript. So, when you get an error on an actual end user device, it's minified, it's concatenated, it's transpiled, it's all sorts of junk that you can't read. The error is like, error on line 0, character number, 30,007, the letter E is an undefined, have fun. Here we take it all the way back to the original TypeScript for you. So as a team, you can come in here and kind of monitor for errors. Individual members can mark them as fixed, closed, or snooze them for later as well. So, you get an error, your team member is already working on it. You might mark it as like snooze while you're working on it, and then mark it as fixed when you're done. So you guys don't step on each other's toes. You don't have like multiple developers trying to fix the same error at once or anything like that. That's kind of a majority of what I kind of wanted to show today. I'd love to kind of open it back up to Q&A for the last 5 minutes of our time together. Nick, did we have anything pop out that we wanted to talk about a little bit more in depth? Not too much. Cool. Well, here, let me change this back here for just a second, guys, so that we will switch from my screen back to us. There we go. So yeah, overall team, wow, we got a lot of sun going on. Sorry, guys. So yeah, overall the whole teams process kind of interacts with each one of our products, allows you guys to collaborate together, allows you to use that Git workflow that you're most likely kind of already used to collaborate. And all you do to get code up to us is do, like I said, that simple git push Ionic and then whatever the name of the branch is. You can send that code up to us and kind of work on any of our given products more effectively as a team using that system. Like Brody said, when we built Ionic Pro, like we really did build it with teams in mind. We talked to, most of the people we talked to were members of full developer teams. And that's kind of where this whole, Git system and how it works with the products kind of came. So we're really happy to kind of launch the actual teams collaboration portion. Happy to have you guys on board and checking this out with us. Like I said, to get started with a team, all you have to do is click that little drop down in the top left of your dashboard. Or if you don't have an account yet, it'll walk you through that process the second you create an account over at ionicframework.com. Yeah, any last minute questions I can help anybody with? We still have a few minutes, so I'd love to stay on live and answer anything that you guys would like to know about teams or Pro in general.
Yeah, and the last thing that I wanted to just mention was, it looks like Steven asked a question about paid Ionic Pro subscription support and other stuff around support, success packages. These are things that we definitely have available at the business level and above. So we're happy to dive in and talk about, opening up private Slack channels, having dedicated account managers so you can have.
Hey everyone, it seems like we lost our presenters. They're going to come back on momentarily. We see all your questions in the chat and we'd love to answer them. So give us 1 second. Brody just hopped on and he's—
The sun burned the downlink. It's true.
Sorry, my computer literally just lost all internet. So luckily we have like 15 computers in this room.
So yeah, what I was saying was, we definitely have some support packages available, tons of different things that we can offer. So I'm gonna put in the comments section right now my email. So please feel free to email me if you have any questions about a higher level of support, building a closer relationship with our team, making sure that you guys are successful as you dive into pro accounts. Again, these support offerings come at the business tier and above. So if you're thinking about team support, we still have great product support available. You can still submit tickets and jump on the Teams plan, and as you scale, you can work your way up. So just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. I'm going through a couple of the other questions.
Yeah, it looks like we got one about Creator and Pro. So any Pro subscription you have automatically includes Creator. The login, when you log into Creator with that same Pro account, will automatically give you that Pro feature. We still allow people to create accounts strictly in Creator just because we have a lot of people that just want the design tool. That's something where if you want everything and not just Creator, it's literally the same price. So if by accident you have both or anything weird like that, or you want to transfer, shoot an email over to help@ionic.io and we'll make sure that your account's squared away and that you're getting everything and not just Creator.
Charles, it looks like you asked a question specifically about your previous creator account. If you have a previous creator account, what you can definitely do is migrate over to Ionic Pro. That's typically what we encourage everyone to do. And then you'll be able to maintain that creator account with your Pro account. So think of it as Pro has kind of eaten creator, and now creator is within the the Pro world. It's under that umbrella.
Yeah, and like I said, if you've got billing questions there, like you want to make sure your billing's right or transfer over, email help@ionic.io, and we'll definitely take care of you and make sure that you're right. We give you all the credit you need for anything you've already paid for, stuff like that. We'll make sure you're square.
100%. All right. What else do we have?
All right, anything? Can you direct Git push Ionic production? Great question, Stephen. That's actually something that I didn't. So the question was, I'll repeat one more time. Can you direct Git push Ionic production? That's something I didn't necessarily show. However, you can automate it so that whenever you do a Git push, it'll automatically go to a channel, and you have full control over that. So if you want, a master to be always latest, production to be your production code, and you have a staging branch, you want all of those things like going to Ionic View or using deploy automatically, you can set that up in your channel. Just click on your channel, and over in the settings tab, you'll be able to set it up to auto deploy from a branch. Yet again, super useful when you're working with a team and you just kind of want to automate everyone's stuff. That way, you're in the dash even less than kind of just, working strictly from that Git standpoint. Definitely a huge plus there.
All right. Any last questions? We'll stay on for another, minute or two, help answer questions, and go from there.
Here, it looks like we did have a couple more questions. We'll stay on a couple more minutes. I'm fine with that. It looks like Todd sent a question that said, can you push an irregularly formatted repo up to Ionic Pro, such as not having an Ionic project in the root directory? You can definitely do that. It does require a little bit of setup. If you go to our documentation at ionicframework/docs/pro, we have a section, I believe, called customizing builds in the first section. Check out that documentation here. Let me see if I still have no internet on mine. Yeah, so check out that customizing build doc in our Pro documentation. That'll show you how to change the directory that it uses and any other thing you can, if you have any other custom setup, custom build process, we support that too. Check out that customizing build doc.
So while we check into a couple more questions, one of the last things that I want to every Wednesday I lead an Ionic Pro demo, which teaches you how to get a project started in Pro. It's kind of the step before this demo. It teaches you individually how to get a project started in Pro. It teaches you how to push it up to Pro. And then I provide a lot of documentation and links to just get started within Pro if you're new to it. It doesn't sound like many of you are very new to this process, but I did want to just drop that in there for those of you that might be quiet, just trying to figure this process out. We do have every Wednesday a demo that leads at 12 Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. So feel free to join that as well. We can send out a link for that.
Cool. A couple more questions rolled in. One of them, when is React coming to Ionic Pro? Two answers to that question. First answer, Ionic Pro, when you do a Git push, we just run npm run build. So pretty much any project you want to send to us that can do npm run build, if you can still run it in an atmosphere like Ionic View, should be something that just works out of the box. I haven't personally done it before, but by all means, you can get started with a free account, push up a project, and see what happens. We also got a question, can we build a PWA in Ionic Pro? So some of the features right now might be a little less useful. Like obviously you're not going to use the native deploy, but monitoring still super useful. Also, I don't have a specific ETA, but in the next few months, we will be launching a PWA hosting service that does a lot of the stuff in the back end for you to make those PWAs super fast. So that's something we haven't talked about too much just because it's still coming, but PWA hosting is definitely on our radar for sure. Charles, awesome question. Are team members synonymous with developer, meaning tester members are not paid users? 100% correct. You never pay for any of those testers. You can have an unlimited number of testers on your account. The only people you pay for are the actual people pushing up to the platform through that Teams. My computer finally got internet. There we go. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the only people you pay for are those teams or organization members that you added in that organization UI. You do not pay for testers. Great point. Cool. Looks like it's slowing down a little bit. We'll wait 30 more seconds, see if anybody's finishing up a question. Yeah, so we don't charge you based on kind of end users. The only thing we have an end user limit on, somebody asked people in the Play Store or testers. The only thing we charge you based on kind of for end users is if you're using our deploy service, that's a little bit how we monitor those live updates. More information on that is on our pricing page.
And I'd actually just be happy to do a quick explanation because we get a lot of questions around what an active user is. If you're looking at our pricing page, what does an active user mean for deploy? You know, we get those questions all the time. An active user is essentially an end user that's taking advantage of a deploy. Now, I'm going to give an example because that's typically how I learn and figure this process out because it is a little complicated. So if you have, let's say, 20,000 users that have your application downloaded, whether it's an MDM solution or an app store, you've got 20,000 active users that are currently using your application. If you send a single deploy and all 20,000 take advantage of that deploy, that means that they are receiving that deploy on their device and using it, actually opening up the app and then receiving that updated version, that would be considered a deploy. So that would be 20,000 deploys if all 20,000
active users.
Active users. So that would be, you know, considered 20,000 deploys. So if you, to clarify, typically, you know, if you've got 20,000 people that downloaded your application, there's probably only 15,000 that are active, maybe 10,000 that are active. So deploys are not counted on the total end number of downloads that you have. It's how many people actually take advantage of that deploy. So you're not wasting deploys. You know, hopefully that helps clarify.
But yeah, when it comes down to kind of like the per seat pricing for teams and business, you are paying for the developers, not the testers. You only pay for those developer seats. Cool. Hey, let's check the questions tab one last time. Somebody asked another PWA question. We're building PWA. Do we still need Ionic Pro? Like I mentioned a little earlier, some of the stuff like monitoring, you can still use View. Like some of the stuff is still kind of useful, maybe not the native deploys, but like I said, PWA hosting is coming soon, and that's going to be like an automatically fast hosting solution that is coming out in a few months.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and you'll be able to leverage monitoring and all the other really cool services right within Pro. And then you'll be able to host your application as well. So it just makes it really simple and convenient for you guys. Of course, there's hosting services aplenty that you can choose from, but our goal is to make things easy and convenient and nice.
Yeah, we automatically do a lot of the fast stuff that PWAs require. So like HTTP2 push out of the box is going to be a big thing for us.
And then there's going to be a couple unique, fun, you know, Easter eggs and presents along with that. Of course, being a hosting service built by the Ionic team, of course, we're going to fill it with some goodies. So,
are you talking about throwing Easter eggs into our?
No, I meant like you find these things that are, oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
but I guess
there's going to be like a little button where you can like add Ionitron to your website. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing anything like that. But hey, cool. Glad you guys joined in today. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for staying a little bit later. To everybody that's still listening, you guys will get a recording of this whole thing sent to your email after we hit close here. So yet again, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time if you guys are participating in our webinar next week too.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
See you in a bit.